David, just before the break, we're talking about Bill 21 and whether that's still pressing on Canadian minds. I know that's an issue for you. What could have been handled differently at the debate on that issue?
I mean, I just would have loved to have seen someone take a step forward and do what would have been electorally damaging in Quebec and say, no, you know what, this is a terrible law, and we would use the tools at the disposal of the federal government to fight it. Is it still a hot topic and a pressing issue? It certainly is in Quebec in regards to those who disagree with me. But I do think that it fits into the conversation that we're talking about in regards to Indigenous reconciliation, how minorities are treated in this country. And it is fitting if you look at it in that context of the conversations that we've had both prior to COVID and during COVID, really for what's been this minority government.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for a second. I mean, this is an interesting circumstance. I don't know any other, well, definitely not in North America, jurisdiction where you have a national debate and there's one of the participants who's literally only representing one area or one province of the country or one state. So he advocated. I mean, Bill 21 is wildly popular in Quebec. It enjoys a plurality of popularity. And that works for Quebec. I don't agree with it. I think there are things that should be done with it. And I don't agree with Bill 21 whatsoever. However, that's what they choose. Democracy is 50% plus one. Elliot, is the silence from the other parties, as David suggests, is it because they're vying for those coveted Quebec seats? Is that the right place for them to jump in and start telling Quebec what they ought to do?
Well, it certainly is, because the way they're reacting is because of their vying for those Quebec seats, and those are really important seats. I would tend to agree with where David was on this, but what's interesting to me is the politics here. So you've got Blanchet was running, I would say, a mediocre campaign to that point.
Yes.
He was, he can be an arrogant guy, and I think that was coming across in the campaign. But this all of a sudden has really whipped up a hornet's nest in Quebec. And he has taken this and in recent poll numbers has seemed to have sort of closing the gap with the Liberals who are leading in Quebec. So he's now been able to wrap himself around this issue along with Bill 96, which talks to the charter around the French language in Quebec, and is really sort of pushing those themes for him politically. And it's given him a bit of life. So again, going back, this is back to this debate format where off the top of the debate, the moderator was asking these really, really, sort of antagonistic questions in a sense, and led in to Mr. Blanchet with this line of questioning. And whenever someone accuses you of being racist, which is essentially what the moderator was doing to Mr. Blanchet, you're going to get this visceral reaction. And I think he's taken that and he's carried it. Whether it's right or wrong, we can have sort of debate that. I mean, what it is politically, because we're looking at September 20th in a couple of days. What's it going to mean at the ballot box? And was this this bolt of lightning that is going to allow him to perhaps recover from a lackluster start to the campaign?
No, I think your observations are bang on, and I tend to agree. Mm-hmm. In fact, I would say that he was probably, or Quebec was the biggest winner. I also was impressed with Annamie Paul. I really enjoyed the way she carried herself, the way she presented herself. At one point, she gave a barb, I think, to Justin Trudeau, accusing him of being a false feminist. And, I thought, wow, here's a woman we haven't heard very much from in the national scene. She's been accused of just campaigning in her local riding, just to reduce her carbon footprint and whatnot. But here we saw her really kind of come alive on a federal scene, on a national stage, and show that, here I am, and I'm here, and I have some really strong ideas. And I was impressed with her. I didn't know what to expect, and I thought, hey, I kind of liked what she had to say.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought her personal story is compelling, and I think she is exactly the kind of politician that we should want to have in Canada. Unfortunately, I think she actually missed a golden opportunity, which was to put some meat on the Green Party policy bone. This is probably the most attention she's going to receive throughout the campaign. Well, it definitely is.
Right.
And I think she missed her chance to really tell Canadians, what does the Green Party stand for? I think if you ask 100 Canadians what they think the Green Party stands for, they think they'll probably say the environment and climate change. But they have a lot more than that. And that was an opportunity for her, a missed opportunity, I think, where she could speak directly to Canadians, gather them around the Green Party ideas, and see if she might be able to pick up a couple seats across the country.